All right, this is a disclaimer that says an online degree from Ashford University does not lead to immediate teacher licensure in any state. So if you want to become a classroom teacher, you will have to go back to your individual state. So I will give you just a second to read over this disclaimer. Okay, Dr. Reosti, next slide, please. One more disclaimer before we start. This just states that Ashford University is not liable for any of the links or websites that we provide during these presentations. So Dr. Reosti, without further ado, we are so excited that you're here with us today. Thank you so much, and the floor is yours.
Okay. For the presentation, the table of contents, what is a nature walk? Who is a nature walk for? Why do a nature walk? When is the best time for a nature walk? Where can I go on a nature walk? 10 nature walk activities for preschoolers. Before I go to the next slide, I would like to say, say an experience of mine. When we were growing up back home in West Africa, we had a dog. And my dad had bought the dog and he wanted the children to name the dog. So there were two favorite shows of ours on TV then. There was Lassie and then there was Dusty. And, we kind of went back and forth and then we decided to name the dog Dusty. Dusty was fierce and friendly and excited, just an amazing little pet that we had. I noticed something about Dusty, and it came back to me while preparing for this presentation. I noticed that at times during the day, because we, unlike in America where you hardly have your yards fenced, in Nigeria, most of our yards are fenced and we call it compound. And there's a fence and then a gate. And our yard was huge, so we didn't need to really walk Dusty. We just let him out and then he ran around the yard and had fun and did what he needed to do. So I realized that Dusty, once in a while during the day, would whine and cry and whimper. He just wanted to go out. Sometimes he would scratch on the door. And then we will let him out. And when you let Dusty out, you have to get off his way because he will dash out like a tornado, like he's panting and excited. He wants to get up. And he'll go outside and run around and play and then come back in. So if a dog can do that, and we know if you're a dog owner, you know to walk your dog, because you have to exercise the dog, you have to let the dog do his business outside or socialize, because I know there are dog parks where dogs can go. So if dogs are so excited and they whimper and cry and want to get outside, how about your preschooler? What do you think? Do you think there's a similarity between your preschooler and the dog who wants to get out and who you have to walk occasionally? So that brings me to the next slide. What is a nature walk? A nature walk has all kinds of meanings to different people. But on this slide, it means getting outdoors, exploring nature, looking at the leaves and looking at the sky, the constellation, checking what the season is by seeing the plants growing and all kinds of stuff out there about nature. Exploring the environment, exercising, walking, running, crawling, jumping, all of these are forms of nature walk. If you look at the picture on the slide, you see a school bus. And there's a reason why I have a school bus on this slide. In my neighborhood, there are 3 schools. There's the elementary school, there's a middle school, and there's a high school. So you know that we're going to have lots and lots of buses moving in and out of our neighborhood. This is the major symbol for our outdoor nature walk in my daycare because I have an in-home daycare. So when we are outside, our main symbol is the bus because it's there, dropping off children, picking up children, going for maintenance. Just every time there's a bus out there. Only this period, where everybody's home and schools are closed, we hardly see buses moving, but sometimes we take a walk to the school and they are parked right there. And that is fun. Can you imagine the excitement on the preschoolers' face when they go very close to the bus? Who is a nature walk for? Now, the answer to this is everyone, of course, babies and families and caregivers and teachers and special needs. Nature walk is for everybody. There's no exception to the rule. Now, maybe for some people who have medical conditions, they probably can be outdoors, but there are always ways to get around it. The little child you see on the screen this was one of our themes for Christmas last year, where I did Christmas around the world. And this was Christmas in Nigeria, because we did a couple of countries. We did Mexico, we did Brazil, because I had a Brazilian exchange student and I was able to learn about their culture when it was Christmas. We did Japan and then Nigeria. Now in Nigeria, our Christmases are mostly for children. The parents buy them beautiful clothes and shoes, and they walk on the street and meet neighbors. You knock on doors and people say hi, they give you money, they may serve you dinner. It's just fun for the children. So when we did Christmas in Nigeria, we walked down our neighborhood. We really weren't knocking on doors, but there's a neighbor right beside us, and we walked to her house and we knocked. Of course, she was expecting us, Miss Mary, and we knocked on her door and she let us in. She entertained us, and then we came back home. Why do a nature walk? There are all kinds of reasons we can do that we do nature walk. This is just like a less than an hour presentation. You can talk about the reasons for a nature walk, the importance and significance of a nature walk all day long, actually all year long, But to restrict it to this class, when you do a nature walk, you may be enjoying nature. You go out, you take a deep breath, you enjoy the fresh air, you hear the birds singing, you hear the water running, all kinds of beautiful nature sounds when you go out, and it's so relaxing and calming. When you go on a nature walk, you're teaching the children about observing, you're developing their observation skills. Oh, Miss Brenda, how come we're no longer seeing buses, just like we used to see buses moving to and fro, and you can explain to them because schools are closed now. If we want to see buses, we can go see them at the school, but they are no longer moving because they are no longer picking and dropping off children. The signs, all kinds of things. When you go outside and you take the children with you, let them observe how the seasons change, how you can notice every season with the way the environment is at a particular time. Concrete relatable learning. When you go on a nature walk, you can extend your indoor learning. If it's a classroom or a home, you can extend your indoor learning to the outdoor environment. For instance, I can give you an example. In the fall, one of our themes is farms, and another is fire safety. So when we get to the farm week, we talk about the farmer and all the workers and what kind of animals are in the farm, and we talk about pumpkins because it's in the fall, and plants and markets, or everything related to the farm. And then we take a field trip to the farm. So the children, they've been taught the theory part of farming, but now they can experience it. They can see real farmers at work. They can see plants, see the pumpkins and other plants. Sometimes they let you do the strawberry picking. So now the children can extend their learning to the outdoors and see what you've already taught them about the farm. So you're making their learning more concrete, more real life, and that helps their memory go a long way. When you do a nature walk with the preschooler, it promotes multi-level family learning. If you go as a family, for instance, the dad is learning, mom is learning, children are learning, even the pet is learning. If I go on a nature walk as a class with my students, I'm learning, they're learning, everybody's learning. So when you go on a nature walk, it's like it's an open-ended opportunity for everybody to learn at every level of development. Nature walk is a stress reducer. Through my years in teaching preschoolers, I've realized one solution to a restless, whiny, remember Dusty the dog, to a restless, whiny child. Sometimes many preschool environments have children in the classroom all day long, maybe an hour here for outdoor play and an hour here for outdoor play. But children want to, come out. They want a bigger space to explore. And I've noticed that children who are disruptive and, restless and crying and stuff like that, when you take them outdoors, you can see an instant change in that child or in the children. You can see them relax, you can see the excitement. So nature walk helps the preschooler in the reduction of stress. It improves focus. I don't know how many times I've had, because we do learning in the classroom when I'm getting my children ready for kindergarten. And although our learning activities are play-based, they are still learning activities. So sometimes when you look at the children, they're not there. They don't want to learn. They don't want to be right there at that moment. And when I notice their temperament, and I'm like, okay, I think they want to go outside. And I let them go outside and they run and do races and enjoy themselves and take the air in, the fresh air in, and then we come back and they are more relaxed, they are more focused and ready to learn. So nature walk improves focus. When is the best time for a nature walk? All day. You can do a nature walk at night. You can do a nature walk all seasons. I can give you an example of a nighttime nature walk. When, I think it was last year, we had many houses in my neighborhood with Christmas lights all over. It was beautiful, the street was lit up. And, in December, it gets dark early. So by 6, sometimes I still have children and it's dark. And I take them out and wow, look at the lights, and we talk about the color and just experience the lighting outside. And we look up, see the stars and the moon, and it's an amazing experience. And you can go on nature walks at all seasons as well. Where can I go on a nature walk? You can go on a nature walk in your neighborhood, at the beach, on trails, in the backyard, at parks, nature centers, or zoos. I know that the term nature walk really does sound like it's all about going out and doing stuff outdoors, Sometimes some nature walk activities can extend from the outdoors to the indoors. So explore, let the children, your preschoolers, explore their neighborhoods. On this slide, that picture, this was like a happenstance because one day we're walking, we didn't even know there was a trail right in that space. And we used to always see like a lot of bush in that area. But then when it was fall, all the leaves had fallen, we saw that there was a path. And then we walked it. There was a little bridge with some, minor water at the bottom, and the kids just loved that experience. And since then, we've walked our neighborhoods. We've discovered all kinds of trails. Just it's amazing. Take them out and explore and discover things for yourself, and also help the children learn. Okay, so 10 nature walk activities. Puddle hunting and rain dipping are two very fun activities. They are our most favorite activities in my classroom, my preschool classroom. That's why they are the top. First is puddle hunting, and then is rain dipping. And these terms we kind of coined, we kind of combine these words to make it more exciting, and so the children can, understand the name of the exercise that we're doing. So for puddle hunting, it's just like, just a regular technical hunting, but this time we're hunting for puddles. So when it rains, we go outside, and the children are all dressed up with their boots and raincoats, and then we go out, we search for puddles, we hunt for puddles. And when we find puddles, we jump in puddles, we let the water splash all over our bodies, all over our faces. Sometimes we take rocks, we throw them in puddles, make ripples. Sometimes we take plastic boats and lay them on the puddles and let the boats just move around. It's an amazing experience. I know that this puddle hunting experience is not something original to us, but we love it. It's an amazing experience for the child. Rain dipping is another activity that has to do with rain and water. When it's raining so hard and we cannot go out and splash in the rain or do puddle hunting, we do rain dipping. And rain dipping is just simply, I make the children, we stay on the porch, and one child at a time goes out and dip in the rain, just run around and jump around and shake. And sometimes they like to taste the rain, with their tongue, they open their mouth. And scavenger hunt. This is a familiar term to everybody. You can do scavenger hunt everywhere, your backyards, on your street, all over the place. I was watching a show yesterday, and it was fascinating that the kind of scavenger hunt they did was a scavenger hunt for the senses. So these were older children. You can always modify your play to be developmentally appropriate for the age group. But these were older children, and they had them, they had the five senses on paper, and they each had to find something hidden in the bushes that represented each sense. And I thought that was amazing. You can use scavenger hunts for colors. You can use it for flowers. You can numbers and letters. All kinds of learning. You can use them just for the children to go out and find objects and then describe them as well. Snow angels. Snow angels are something we're familiar with as well. When it snows, the child lays on their back and just swipe their hands on the snow and make angel-like objects or angel-like projections on the floor. And that is amazing. And they are having all the sensory opportunities. They're feeling the coldness of the snow and the wetness of the snow, and enjoying the coarseness and the smoothness, of the snow. So it's an amazing experience as well. Hiking is one thing we really, really love in our neighborhood. And it's not like long hikes, there we have beautiful short trails that the children can walk in our neighborhood and enjoy hiking. Obstacle course. Obstacle courses are just simple activities for the preschoolers where you use simple objects. I've seen a lot on social media lately, especially now that everybody's home and parents are using couches and tables, things in the environment for the children to do obstacle courses on. Now, when you go outside, I've also seen pool noodles obstacle courses. You can take tables out, chairs, all kinds of, you can make obstacle courses from sticks, and just let the children go to work and have fun. Bug hunt. One very important lesson I teach the children, and I say it over and over again, even before we go out on the bug hunting activity, is that you have to value life. Bugs are living, they're walking, they can eat, they have life. So when you see a bug, don't step on it, don't kill it, just look at it, explore it, check how its legs are, and then leave it alone, okay? So when we go on bug hunts, when I go on bug hunts with the preschoolers, we have magnifying glasses, and then we go outdoors and we just explore, look on the grass, look on the walls, trying to find bugs, and then we compare, we describe, and all kinds of activities. It's awesome. It's amazing. TSAs, traffic sign activities. Now, the good thing about nature walk, especially in your neighborhood, is that there are all kinds of traffic signs, already there for you to help the child learn and explore and understand, what the signs are for. So our favorite sign is the stop sign, because it's at every intersection in my neighborhood. And we have all kinds of music for the stop sign. And they learn, when you see a stop sign, you have to stop. What color is it? It's red, and sometimes they say red and white. And then what shape is it? It's an octagon. How many sides does it have? And we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What color is the light? What color do you see? Red light. When you see the red light, the red traffic light, what does that mean? It means stop, just like the stop sign. What if it turns green? It means you can go, okay? So with the traffic signs in your neighborhood or in your environment, you can teach these children concepts and terms and numbers, because there are numbers on the speed limit in your neighborhood as well. So this is another beautiful experience that the children can do. Nature art. Nature art is just, it's amazing. It explores all the senses of the preschool child. An example of nature art is the sidewalk leaf chalk tracing. So what I usually tell my preschoolers is, find a leaf with your name on it, and everybody's scrambling. Oh, I found a leaf. This has my name on it. And then I say, what letter is at the beginning of your name? And you tell me, and I say, okay, now let's do the leaf chalk tracing. And we have chalk, and we put the leaves down on the sidewalk, and we trace it. You can do, this activity is open-ended, so you can do it however you want to do it. You can do it indoors, you let the children go outdoors, pick the leaves and bring them in, and then trace it. All these, the tree stalks, nature, flowers, everything in the environment, just let the children bring it in and trace it and explore that object. Seek and describe is an amazing opportunity for the preschooler to interact with nature, explore language, and also describe an object. If you want to make this more fun and interesting, use a blindfold, So sometimes we go in the backyard, because that's a very controlled environment. It has a gate and a fence, so I know they're in there. This is not like on the street. When we're in the backyard, somebody has a blindfold on, and you ask them to find objects hidden in the environment. And it's just fun to see them, using their hands and their legs trying to find those objects. And then when they finally find the object, they are describing, okay, what do you have? I think it's a ball. Why do you think it's a ball? Because it's round and it's soft, you know. And then probably, can you guess what color it is with the blindfold on? I don't think so, but I think it's red. And then you take the blindfold off and you say, oh, it's not red, it's yellow. It's yellow, just like the school bus. So this is an amazing activity for your preschooler to have fun, you know, in learning. I want to do one last bonus activity because I did say 10, but this is the 11th one. And that activity is called animal races. So we go, there's a particular place, like a cul-de-sac, like a dead end in my neighborhood, and that's our favorite place to do animal races. So we go there and we may start with the kangaroo. And we say, jump like a kangaroo. It's a race. Let's see who's going to win. And, and everybody's jumping like a kangaroo. So there's a beginning point and there's an end point. And then, of course, everybody wins in the preschool classroom. So you can do dog races, you can do cat races, you can do all kinds of animal races. Okay, so things to consider when you go on a nature walk. Safety is the number one thing on the list because safety is very important. So when I take my preschoolers on a daily, depending on the weather, I try as much as possible to take them out every day. But if the weather is really bad, we don't, you know, we do indoor activities. But safety is very important. That's why we have rules. So before we go out, we do like a 2-minute talk about our rules, and it's be careful, be safe, be responsible, be kind, and the last one I'll say, stay together, you know, so they don't roam all over the street when you take them. And these rules are pretty simple, and the children I have now, most of them I've had them for 6 months or more, so they're pretty well behaved when we go outdoors. I remember, I think it was a couple of days ago, and I had the children were walking on the sidewalk. Sometimes I take the wagons. If I have a new child who needs to learn the safety rules for outdoors, I take the wagon, and the wagons have straps on them. So that child is strapped down and still enjoying nature, but not just walking on freely on the road and learning the safety rules. So just recently, the lady, she said, excuse me, I see you're always taking your children out every day. Why don't you use those restraints, you know, where the children hold on to it and they walk and stuff like that. And I said, I really don't believe in restraining children. I really like them to learn about, you know, boundaries. You don't walk on the street. And sometimes when you restrain children and then you let them loose, they're gonna be let loose. They're gonna roam all over the place. So I prefer to teach them safety rules rather than restrain them. So she was looking at me like, oh wow, really? Okay, you know, but that's what I do. And they are pretty well behaved when we go outside. But then that's why I have the wagon, because you know, if the child cannot walk safely with the others on the side of the street or on the sidewalk. Sometimes some places no sidewalk, but then there's grass, and I say make sure you walk on the grass and stay away from cars. And they have to be in the wagon. Another thing, I teach them about crossing streets. Now, when we get to the driveway, there's I don't know if this is just by luck or by chance, there's a crack at the end of the driveway, just like a line, just naturally there. And I tell them, stop at the crack, and they do stop at the crack, and then we hold hands, everybody's hands connected. And then I say, look right, look left, look right again. Is there any car coming? No, sometimes yes. And sometimes they are not looking. I'm like, you have to look, you have to use your eyes and ears, you know, when you're outside, because you might not see a car, but you might hear it coming. And then we hold hands and I say, run it, and then we run across the street. Now, recently, the children became mischievous, and then when we all hold hands and we're not done looking yet, somebody says, run it. I'm like, no, nobody else can say, run it. but Miss Brenda, okay? So we hold hands, we look, and I say, run it, and everybody run across the street, and we're safe. And luckily for me, again, regarding safety, one day on our nature walk, everybody was there. Luckily, nobody was absent that day. We saw a dead squirrel in the middle of the street. And everybody was like, oh, Miss Brenda, the squirrel is dead. He's not going to see his mom anymore. You know, they were like that. And I was like, yeah, this is an opportunity to teach about safety. I was like, guys, remember when I tell you to look right and left and look hard and listen before you go across the street? And they said, yeah, I don't think the squirrel did that. I think the squirrel just ran across the street and wasn't looking, and the squirrel got hit. And they're like, okay. And ever since then, I can always go back to that experience and say, guys, you have to be safe. Remember the squirrel? And they're like, yeah, and they'll behave, you know. Your nature walk activities should be well planned. When you're going out with your child or your children, you should plan your, you know, your beginning point, your end point, and of course, there are things that happen that aren't planned, you know, they're just happenstance, but basically have a plan. When we go out on our nature walk, I have a safety bag and I have my first aid kit in there. There's water, there are snacks, you know, just depending on the distance. There's extra diapers for those who might need it. There's just all kinds of knickknacks in my bag that will take me to and through my destination, you know. Nature walk should be developmentally appropriate. If you have preschoolers, your nature walk activities should be geared towards preschoolers. Remember when I said I watched a show and there was somebody doing a nature walk and they were doing a nature walk about senses, and each child had cards with words in them, you know, like huge words, not for preschool age. And those words they had to read and find the objects. Preschoolers are not yet there yet, you know. So even if you do a sense, find your sense kind of scavenger hunt, do it to be developmentally appropriate to the age. Probably use pictures instead of words, you know, so the children you have at a particular time can enjoy the experience that you're trying to help them with. Nature walk should be meaningful. When you take children out on a nature walk, what's your goal? What's your reason? You know, it has to be meaningful. When you're walking, are you teaching them what they're looking at? Are you listening to their questions when they ask? You know, how are you relating with the child? Don't be walking a child absent-mindedly. You know, you're not looking at the environment. You're not teaching them about the environment. That's not a rewarding nature walk. Nature walk should be very meaningful between you and the children as well. And that picture is the picture of my first aid kit in the classroom. Sources of inspiration. There are various sources of inspiration, and I just have these three here. I have the books, search engines, and then social media. I, for one, I have a very strong social media presence. So I have LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, I have all of them. And all our experiences, our puddle hunting, rain dipping, walking, all kinds of experiences that we are having in our classroom, they're on the social media page. And I've seen other social media pages as well, where you can go and just see what those children are doing and experience and see what kind of experiences the adults are helping those children get through on the outdoors or during nature walk. In conclusion, nature walks can be very exciting, even for you, the adult, taking the children. It's amazing how much the children just let go, how much joy is on their faces. Imagine a child splashing in puddles. It's like they've won a pot of gold. You know, they love it. They love to be outdoors. They love to to touch snow and explore all kinds of things on the outdoors. So it's an amazing and exciting experience for your child or children. When children go on nature walks, they can socialize, they can participate, and they can learn. Now, we have a neighbor, and I did mention her earlier, Miss Mary. Miss Mary has a dog, and his name is Muffin. And sometimes when we're walking, we see Muffin. Can you imagine the excitement on the kids' faces? And even on Muffin is like wagging his tail because he knows them, and he lets them pet him, and they touch him, and they explore him, and he explores them as well. And then I ask questions. What color is Muffin? You know what does Muffin? I tell them don't pull on his tail because children can be mischievous. I say don't pull on his tail. Muffin's not gonna like that. So they're not only socializing with the animals and people in the environment. They are participating in learning without even knowing that they're learning. It's a very fun activity that you do and forget it's a learning experience, but it is a learning experience. Now, when you go on nature walks, please include activities that support the overall development of the child. It could be in a span of a week. Just when you do a nature walk, are you walking? Are you helping the child with the motor skills development, the legs, hands getting stronger, and little movements of the hands? Just include activities that support the overall development of the child. Start with one step at a time to understand the child's limits, likes and dislikes. I remember at the point during this presentation, I had said, when I have new students, I have them in the wagon because I don't know them yet. I don't know if they're going to fly off and run off on the street when there's a car comes. So I have them on the wagon and I watch them. I assess them and see how they do. And then little by little, I start giving them chances to walk, just like the others. This is how I always end my presentations because I believe so much in it. Let children lead you. They are the best teachers. Watch the child, see what the children are doing. Just explore the child, see what they like, see their dislikes, what are their limits. I have a child. As much fun as puddle hunting is, he doesn't want to get in puddles and he doesn't want to get wet. And he's going to tell you, I don't like being wet. I don't want to get in puddles. Okay, and that's fine. He doesn't like it, and that's fine. But he doesn't mind throwing rocks and making ripples. He does not mind using plastic boats and riding it on the puddles. But his limit is that he does not want to jump in it and get wet. Okay, so understand the child, understand their likes, understand their dislikes, and that's going to make for a very rewarding nature walk. Thank you very much, guys. Does anybody have a question?